Hi, this video is a part of Deep Learning with TensorFlow playlist. In this playlist, I quickly explain the logic and implementation of deep learning algorithms and applications using TensorFlow. Note that I do not code along, rather I make use of pen for explaining the tricky parts of code so that you people can read the notebooks and re-implement them yourself. Code files for each video will be given in the description, so I'm expecting my audience to have good understanding of deep learning algorithms and they just need little hints for implementation of these algorithms from scratch using TensorFlow. In this video, I'll talk about denising convolutional autoencoders. Autoencoders are actually dimensionality reduction algorithms where our aim is to reduce the dimensions of input space. When inputs are images, then in such cases, convolutional autoencoders are really powerful because CNNs, convolutional neural networks, really captures the idea of images where each pixel is affected by nearby neighboring pixels. Now, here, the idea of using autoencoders for denising purpose is really simple, where our aim is to not reduce the dimensions of input space. However, our aim is to reconstruct the images. In the process, of course, we will learn the reduced dimensions of input space. We will be denising images, so we will also the input space will be actually the input images. So let's jump to the whiteboard and notebook to understand this idea in better way and code it in Python. So in this video, our aim is to have a noisy image, and this is the denising autoencoder. And once we give input this noisy image, we retrieve back this original image. So we have removed the noise from the image. How do we do it? We basically use this autoencoder idea where we have an image which is given as an input to this neural network architecture, where we have first hidden layer and then second and then third and then fourth, and it could increase up to any number. However, the idea is to reduce the hidden units or neurons from one layer to another layer in such a way that we encode this whole image, encode this whole single image into this code size. This is what we call code size. This is also called a reduced dimensions. It could be 3, it could be any number, but usually for images it could be 128, it could be 64, it could be 32, it could be as less as 2, because 2 is good for 2 or 3 dimensions are good for visualization purposes. So depending on application, we could use different code sizes. So this is something, a hyperparameter to tune that which dimension, which lower dimension should we encode this image into, what is the best number to choose. So this is kind of a hyperparameter to choose. And how much hidden layers should we choose for this encoder part, where we are reducing this image into this code size or reduced dimension. This is also a hyperparameter to tune. Now once we have this code size and this reduced dimension, then comes the next part, the decoder part. This is the decoder part. So this decoder, this coded size or this encoded image inside this layer, where we have reduced the dimensions to 2 or 3 or 32 or 64 or any number, then we give this as an input, and we again reconstruct the image by reproducing or reconstructing this architecture in opposite direction. So suppose this hidden layer is, we are reconstructing this hidden layer here, and this second hidden layer here, and this third hidden layer here, and using this last hidden layer we reconstruct the image. So the idea main is to use this denising image, as an input, encode it into this lower dimension, and then use this lower dimension as an input and reconstruct this image as an output. If you know about autoencoders, which I have already explained in previous videos in detail, I hope so you understand this idea. Now let me just reiterate this idea of CNN instead of using simple feed-forward neural networks, because CNN makes use of convolutions and pooling layers, which basically captures this idea that one pixel is affected by nearby pixel. So what is inside this pixel, this information is not alone. It is basically dependent upon what is inside this neighboring symbols. So it has a strong correlation with these neighboring pixels. So this idea is captured in this convolutional neural network. So that's why we'll be using convolutional neural networks. Okay, one more idea is about TensorFlow implementation, where there is a sequential API and functional API. In sequential API, we have input layer and then hidden layer, and then another hidden layer, and then another hidden layer. So what happens is that we are assuming that input to this hidden layer is basically coming from this previous input layer, and hidden to this second layer is coming from the output of this previous hidden layer, and input to this third hidden layer is coming from output of this second hidden layer. So this is internally assumption, and this is how sequential API works. However, in the functional API, what we do is we explicitly tell that this hidden layer is basically having an input coming from the previous layer. So once we have this input coming from the previous layer, and we tell this in this functional API that this hidden layer is having this input, then what we do is we store the output of this hidden layer. Then for the equivalent of this hidden layer will be equal to this hidden, and input will be the output of the previous layer. So this is coming here. and we will store this output again, and then we will again use this output of previous second hidden layer as an input to the third hidden layer, and we will store it as an output, and this will go on as it goes on. So the only difference is that we explicitly tell about the input, and we do not assume that the previous layer output will be used as an input. I hope so this makes sense. If this makes sense, then let me jump to the notebook where I'll be explaining the whole idea. So let's begin by importing all the necessary libraries. We'll be looking at Faces dataset, which I'll be using and which I have already used in all of the autoencoders videos. So we are just defining the attributes and all the necessary information. This is just storing the names, and then what we do is we load the dataset, and then we center the images. This division by 255 will give the range of between 0 to 1, and this subtraction of 0.5 will give the range from minus 0.5 to 0.5. So we have centered the images around 0. Then we split it in train test. Then this is a function to show images, and these are some of the images. We have already looked at these images, and we'll be using these images even in future videos where we will be working on autoencoders. Okay, then I've already explained this idea a million of times in previous videos, where we are having this encoder part and this decoder part, and we are basically what we are doing is we are using sequential API. So in sequential API, the first layer we are adding is input layer, and then we are adding this convolutional and pooling layer, another convolution and pooling, another convolution and pooling, and convolution and pooling, and then we flatten it and we encode it into the code size. This code size is basically the reduced dimension that we want. So this is kind of a hyperparameter. Once we have this encoded, this code size is kind of encoding this input image into this code size. This is the reduction part of image. And this is the decoder part, where we are giving input this code size, and we are retrieving back this image from this code size. And how do we do it? First of all, we apply this dense image of 2 cross 2 cross 256, and this is basically done. Why? Because the last convolutional layer that we applied was having filters 256 and pooling size of 2,2. So this is just to regenerate the same dimension of hidden layer, because we want to retrieve back and regenerate the image. So we will be using this 2D transpose convolution. So this is deconvolution. So because we are going in the backward direction, so in convolution part, we were actually, what we were doing was that we were decreasing the dimensionality, and input images were actually going down. The size of input images were going down in each of the hidden layer. But once we have encoded it, now our aim is to go back in backward direction, so we will be deconvolving it. So this is a deconvolution function. So here we are using filters of 128, which is equivalent to this line where we were encoding it, and once we have done it, then we will be using this 64 and 32, and finally filters of 3. So this is in accordance of what we have done here. And this filter, finally the filter of 3 was done because we are dealing with RGB images, so it has 3 channels. So filters is kind of a channels that we are using. So usually we use activation of ELU, not ReLU, for such purposes. Okay, once we have done that, then we have actually defined this architecture of encoder and decoder. This 2D deconvolution part, it might seem a bit new to you if you are new to deep learning, but if you really know about images, working with computer vision, then you know about deconvolution. Then I'm expecting that you know about it. But if you don't know about it, then it is kind of going in opposite direction of convolution. This is the opposite function of the convolution, so that's why it is called deconvolution. Okay, once you have that, then let's define the function of applying Gaussian noise. So then what we will do is we will apply this Gaussian noise and look at it. If we apply the Gaussian noise having sigma of 0.01, then it's really not that much of a noise, but given this 0.1 value is really I mean, it is noisy. However, when we give this noisy image of 0.5, it is so much noisier, then it is complete noise. Even we cannot see even image. But this value of 0.1 is reasonable, because this is a reasonable noise in the image. So usually what we are interested in is that we give this much of noisy image, and we regenerate back this original image. This is the original image. Okay, so this is our main aim. We will be adding this noise part to the input image, and we will be regenerating this original image, and in the process we will be learning the hidden dimension, this coded size. So given the new image, we will be encoding it into this code size, and using this code size as an input, we will regenerate this original image from this noisy image. How will we do it? Let's look at it. We cleared the session and we build it and we summarize it, and this is just a summary of both the encoder and decoder part. If you look at it, the number of parameters, if you look at it. So each of them is actually representing these number of parameters, how much of parameters that we have to learn. So once we have done that, then what we will do is we will give this image shape that we are having. Then this image shape will be used as in will be stored in this inp variable, and this imp variable will be used as an input, as I have already explained in the functional API, for this encoder part, and we will get output this code size encoded image given this input image. And once we have this encoded image, we will be giving this as an input to the decoder part, and we'll be getting output this reconstructed image. So this is how it is done. These are the two lines that we are applying the function that I've already explained. Then we will be applying this model, Keras model, where we have this input is equal to input, and outputs we are having only single output, and that is reconstruction. We are interested in this single reconstructed image given this input image. We will be reducing this mean square error from pixel to pixel. So we want to regenerate each pixel in perfect condition, so that there is a least loss of information, and that's why we are using this loss of mean square error. Okay, we are using this optimizer AdamX, and we are compiling this model. And then what we are doing is for 25 epochs, we apply this image to the training data and testing data, and then we are applying this autoencoder to the training, where input X is actually X train noise, and output Y is this this original image without noise. And for validation purpose, we are inputting this X test noise, and the output is actually only X test. So this is again original image. Once we have done that, then what we will do is, this is a visualizing part where we are having this image, this encoder part and decoder part. We will be applying this encoder part and this decoder part to predict this coded size, and then this encoded size will be used as an input to predict this reconstructed image. So then we will be plotting these images. So once we plot it, this is the result, where we are having this original image. This is a noisy image, and we are just getting output this reconstructed image, and this is doing pretty much well. In the process, we have learned a network architecture which is reconstructed the image, and at the same time we have learned the hidden dimension that this image is encoded into. This idea is really powerful. I hope so you get this idea.